Ladies and gentlemen, Six Fig Stock Trader here from YouTube. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin in an interesting scenario that I'm going to propose to you. So let's get right into this. So welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Six Fig Stock Trader here. And we are going to be taking a peek at Bitcoin while I sit here in my Minnesota Wild game used jersey. This used to be Zach Parisi's. For all the hockey buffs out there, Wild couldn't quite pull it off last night, but they're a solid team, just like you guys are solid crypto traders. Now let's get into what is going on with Bitcoin. What in the world is going on? And so we can see that this trend line dates back to about 2012. So this is about 20 years, or excuse me, 10 years worth of data. So with that said, Bitcoin has respected this trend line to the upside quite nicely. And what do we have each time that happens with this? Well, we can see price action gets pulled right back to this trend line. We get way too far out from this trend line and gravity just sucks us right back in. So where are we right now? Well, we're kind of working our way towards this trend line. Now, of course, this bull run is different than every other bull run. I think that everybody would pretty much agree with that. And maybe we're not going to see these crazy bear markets like we used to see. And maybe we'll just see maybe some sideways continuation as the crowds pile into Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency market. I threw up a Fibonacci channel here, measuring this swing low to this swing high to this swing low. And if you guys have paid attention to this channel before, you've heard me throw around the term Fibonacci sliver. And the Fibonacci sliver is a term that I coined when referencing sideways pressure against Fibonacci channels, meaning we will see price action squeeze and squeeze and squeeze until we simply cannot squeeze anymore due to channels, trend lines, things of that nature. So let's just say that this was some sort of trend line that's imaginary. By default, we will squeeze up against this lower trend line or whatever channel we are in. So this is called a Fibonacci sliver by default. And we might be gearing up for something like this on a grander scale if we don't lose this bottom. But right now, Bitcoin is doing a halfway decent job at maintaining. And currently, when we go to look at this chart here, really dating back to November of 2021, I am seeing this itch for a corrective wave down to around maybe this $23,000 ish level. At that point in time, folks, if this does happen, we have to start thinking ahead of the rest of the game. What would happen if this did happen? Well, we'd probably get some sort of very nice bounce, and maybe we would get some sort of bounce to the upside if this wasn't a rising wedge that tanked the market one more time. But I do hope that we will see Bitcoin really hold above this $35,000, $36,000 ish level. Currently, in the next few days, right now, I think Bitcoin is somewhat a little bit too far away from the Ichimoku cloud. So I do think that we might see a little bit of a bounce here. And let's just go ahead and measure some swing high to some swing low to see if we can get anything concrete. So when I measure this Fibonacci time sequence here, we can see it predicted a reversal here, somewhat of an increased volatility here. Really not much, within a couple days. But right here, April 6th, it was pinpoint accurate. So now we've got May 6th coming around for Bitcoin, which is in 3 days. So May 6th is Friday. So maybe we will see increased volatility or a reversal, something like that come Friday. It wouldn't surprise me to see Bitcoin come back down to this $420-ish level. At that point in time, I think it would be too far from the Ichimoku cloud, and I do think that we may get some sort of bounce, or we might get some sort of bounce sooner, and May 6th could constitute as some sort of reversal point. So now we're going to talk about this whole thing with the Fed increasing interest rates, folks. I'm going to show you guys another chart of the SPY, the S&P 500. This is an ETF. This is probably one of my favorite charts to trade. And let's just go ahead and throw this thing down on a weekly. And what we can see here is historically, we've kind of always came down to this 200 moving average, with the exception of this coronavirus crash. This in 2008, of course, the whole economy tanked, yada, yada, yada. But with that said, this could be forming some sort of falling wedge to meet up with this 200 moving average. So I would anticipate that this could happen sometime January, December, that we might get a bounce on the S&P 500. And why do I say that it's priced in, or could possibly be priced in so far? Well, right now we have seen the S&P 500 pull back 15%. So I think that if we end up maybe pulling down to, this $3,800 SPY or S&P 500, really that's sitting at 20%. We've already done 15%. So I do think that market makers knew about this early on, and it wouldn't be any surprise to me that they were in collaboration with the Fed, things like that. There's lots of money that gets passed behind closed doors to the point where these traders are unfairly taking advantage of the markets. Insider trading, it's a real thing without consequences for the elite. So, when I'm talking about, is Bitcoin, is this bottom priced in? Are the traditional markets already priced in? They could possibly be. I think maybe another 5-10% tops might be the bottom for this, quite possibly. Not financial or trading advice whatsoever. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little TA overview I have on the crypto markets right now. It's just kind of how I'm feeling. I think that we could be seeing that falling wedge on the S&P 500. Might turn things around, but if the stock markets and stuff like that are declining, maybe we'll see some of that money flood into the crypto markets. You just never know. So big shout out to all the Patreons. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon, $3 a month will get your name, YouTube channel name, or business name up on this banner. We'll see you on the next video.